Today's episode is a bit shorter and a bit more chill. I specifically decided that was gonna be the case before playing, so. But before we could do that, we have to deal with the fact that we got teleported to the roundtable hold and we have some talking to do. But first of all, we have to change clothes, because we can't be ugly while talking to everyone. The round of introductions to the new work colleagues starts with Corin, who looks like I did while starting the game, suggesting that he's a man of faith and hopefully he can sell me something useful. Indeed, he says he's a man of the cloth and seems loyal to the Two Fingers and the Golden Order. The reason I know these things is because I really want to understand what are the different sides of the ongoing conflict or whatever, and the motivations of the various sides. It seems, for example, that the goal of the Golden Order and the Fingers is to have a new Elden Lord, I assume on their side, to re-establish order. Grace, and therefore the Tarnished, from what I can understand, are connected to these powers to be. Anyway, Corin sells a few incantations, nothing super interesting except for a fireball, a quicker heal, and some protective magic. I happen to have a bunch of runes, so I buy basically everything I can. I then talk to D, who I find here again, which means he's tarnished, I think. He also sells incantations, though these ones require both faith and int, so I don't know if they're worth getting. One of them looks like a T-pose, so maybe they are. Let me know what you think. Should I get these incantations? After that, I am ignored by this person leaning on the wall, and we JoJo pose to each other. And then I tragically disparage a message I meant to appraise. I'm sorry, dude. I look at the shop of these beautiful ladies, but I've already spent all my money, so there's lots of closed doors around the place, so I have to remember to come back here often. I then talk to the Anlos, who's clearly part of the 1%, who asks me to find his servant, called Lania, that apparently tries to run away from him every chance she gets. So yeah, I don't know what we'll do about that. And I don't know if I'm misguided in believing this, but I see a lot of George R.R. Martin in some of the dialogue in this game, especially when characters say sentences like, "She's such a little tomboy." It just strikes me much more of Game of Thrones than it does Dark Souls, but I have no idea what exactly George wrote of this game, so it might just be all in my head. There is this statue that seems new to me, that gives me the prompt to enter Colosseum combat. It feels like an online thing, so I just go away, but let me know if it's worth doing. Next, there's everyone's waifu, Fia, who really just wants hugs and cuddles. From what she says to me in secret, she seems to want hugs and cuddles in order to absorb life force or something, to then be able to resuscitate someone, ? But it is hugs and cuddles nonetheless, so. And getting hugged gives me a buff item, so what's not to love, besides the part about hugging a corpse for a long period of time, of course? I do appreciate having access to this mirror that lets you edit your appearance, though I'm happy about how I look and I feel like I won't use it that much this playthrough. I then talk to the Scaly Smith, who apparently is a prisoner of the Roundtable Hold. He's being very mysterious at the moment, so we'll be back, but he does say he's scared of some non-specified woman. I use a couple of imp keys to get access to 2 rooms, and in them I find a crossbow I don't have the stats for, and the Assassin's Prayer Book. I give the prayer book to Corin, and he thinks it's blasphemous, but he still sells me the incantations in it, so. There are 2 different spells that conceal your present to an extent, which could be interesting. And that concludes my first day at the office, and we can go back to some chill and laid-back exploration. I start back from Selen's Cellar, where we left off, and I explore the area around it. First, I kill some wolves at a graveyard, except it's a different type of graveyard, only with the stone coffins above ground, which is kind of weird. There's a bunch of runes in it, which I appreciate because I want to level up some stats. Then I see an enemy camp on a hill and decide to go wipe that. It gives me the occasion to use my new fireball spell, which is like okay. At least now I have an option for ranged combat. I get a bit bullied by the mages that are targeting me from above, which really remind me of myself in my previous run of the game. But overall, clearing the camp is a bit time intensive, but fairly easy. In a chest, I find a rapier that I'm not interested in, and behind the camp there's one of these round compass things with a starlight shard in it that I think restores mana. I then spend a bit of time doing my newfound favorite activity, which is walking the perimeter of whatever place I'm in. In this case, not finding anything particularly interesting. And after I'm content with my fruitless exploration, I descend onto the road using the big gravestones and I bully a soldier with some fireballs. I then walk backwards on the road with the intention of killing everyone on my way while looking for, anything interesting. I'm really curious about these people who seem to be digging for something. The only idea I have is that they might be looking for ruin fragments because they're digging near ruins, and when they're killed, sometimes they drop ruin fragments. But after this quick meditation about it, the interesting something I was looking for finds me. When this dude straight up jump scares me and turns into a big bear. I was not prepared for this mentally, and I go in a bit of a panic. Also, because I wasn't honestly doing much damage to him, so I alternate between running away and trying to attack him back, but it's really a hopeless fight. I end up dying when a horse guy joins the fight. I had almost 3,000 runes though, so I obviously had to go back for those. But I also was not gonna let the bear man stay alive, so I killed some people on the way there and then set out to fight. I summoned the skeleton boys to help me out, and then I triggered the bear again. Except I fall down on the road immediately and he follows me. The problem is that if I stay on the road, the skeletons are going to bail on me, and I do not want that. So I run back up, but the bear never follows and starts instead fighting the skeletons on the road. And the skeletons, of course, keep respawning. And this is all way too convenient not to take advantage of, so I just cheese the fight and throw fireballs at him. It is what it is. Drag me if you want to. The bear drops an interesting item, a larval tear, which is the core of a creature of mimicry and is used for respecking later, I guess. We'll keep it on hand if we need it. A curious thing I noticed is that some of these corpse-looking guys have glowy eyes that look to me like grays. So are these guys tarnished? I don't know. Anyway, I set out to explore the other side of the road, and on the way I find a war, apparently. Some soldiers picked a fight with some monkeys, and of course I decided to contribute to the fight with some fireballs. I then follow the trail of monkeys, quote unquote, that apparently live around here, I guess. There's some bigger monkeys with a bigger club, but honestly they're all very weak. And it's a very chill time just killing them all. I only find some crab eggs for my troubles though. Since I have some runes, I decided to go back to the office to buy some incantations I couldn't afford before. And then I come back. This time, I go uphill to the right side of the road, towards where some stone worms are gathering. They seem to be powered by some purple magic. I do appreciate the color coding of magic in this game to distinguish different kinds, I guess. On the floor, there's some sort of arena, which transports me to maybe a parallel dimension where a mini-boss resides. I wonder if it's a prison or something. I do like this guy's moveset and flowy attacks, because in my heart of hearts I have a soft spot for dexterity builds, but really is no match for my magic fire hands. So I kill him and I get his sword. Obviously I then walk the perimeter around the arena, hunting some sheep, not much else. There is, though, a lower side of this small peninsula I'm exploring, so I want to walk that perimeter too, obviously. And that's a bit more fruitful. I find some more monkeys to kill, then I finally have an opportunity to ask for forgiveness for the murder of an owl in the first episode. And then I kill more monkeys. I jump even further down, directly on top of a bush that is actually yet another monkey. There's a bunch of monkeys turned into bushes here, but as far as I know, no bok, which is, I guess, both unfortunate and fortunate at the same time. A message tries to tempt me into jumping on the other side with my horse, but I do not fall to temptation for now. So I go back up, pretty content with my exploration of this part of the map. I do need to make up for the lack of excitement in this episode though, so I want to fight the dragon. I equip my new fire resistance spells that I bought and I go straight for the lake. I obviously ignore the crabs because they are still too scary, and on the way I summon Engvall. That ended up being a mistake because obviously he immediately starts fighting everything he sees. So we are sidetracked to a long fight with the poison eggs, which is very annoying and boring, but gets me an arterial leaf, I guess. We then aim for the group of guys around the bonfire, and as expected, the dragon turns up and kills them all in one hit. His name is Agil, so that was kind of uncalled for, since the guys on the ruins seems to like him a lot, chanting his name and everything. Obviously, I fought this dragon before, so I'm not scared, which helps a lot. I also feel confident about my flame fortification spell, even though I have actually no idea how much it actually defends me. Maybe I should check that. Engvall, since he wasted half his health bar fighting eggs, dies pretty quickly, and I am left all alone. My little spear doesn't do a lot of damage, to be honest, but I fight very aggressively, and I try to hit Agil as often as I can. I got hit the first time when Agil is already at half his HP, so I'm feeling pretty confident and continue fighting on Torrent. I have to heal a few times, and even though I reapply it when I can, I noticed that flame fortification actually lasts quite a while. I think more than most buff items. I get concerned that Agil might despawn because he flies on land, but I managed to kill him before that could happen, so nice. First try, you know? Okay. But to stomp on my confidence, I am immediately bullied by this dragonfly that wants to put me back in my place. So, I have a dragon heart now. I go around the lake picking up items for a bit and just, you know, look around. At night, there's like so much glowy pollen coming from the earth tree, you know, so hopefully nobody's allergic to grace. The guys in the ruins are still chanting about Agil, even though he's dead, so that's fun. I go back to the guy below the ruins to let him know that I killed the dragon, since he warned me about it. He tells me that if I want, I can use the dragon's heart to partake in dragon communion on the island we found on the first episode. He warns me though that dragon magic tends to be ruinous, and I'm still scarred from when I made the wrong choice in Dark Souls 3 and it made me ugly. So if that could happen by using dragon magic, I want to know. And if it does, I won't touch it. Just in case though, I go check in the church to see the spells. And I decide I'm in no rush to get another fire attack for now. So instead, I go back to the office to see if there's anything new. And I buy the darkness spell, though I do discover later that I don't have enough mana to use it at the moment. I also find this guy that I didn't see before, and he does not tell me his name, but he is kind enough to tell me I'm just a little shit and this is not my home because I need to prove myself, and that makes me cry. So I go to Fia to be consoled by some hugs and cuddles, and that's it for today. Thank you, Fia.